What's going on, family? New day, new begins. Before we get started, hit that like and share button, subscribe button. As you can see by the thumbnail, the title of the video is Remember Who You Are. There's a lot of trials and tribulations that we faced in our lives, in the past, presently. It could be financial, personal, mentally, physically, and by going through these situations, they could throw us off our square, you know, and we sometimes forget who we are as people, who we are as an entity. And sometimes I'm here to tell you is that that stuff is only temporarily, and we need to understand that on so many levels because everything in life is redeemable, you know, and it's up to you to take that course, and redeem yourself. You got to go back in time sometimes, to, the past, the things that made you happier the most in your life. And when you go back and you view those situations, you got to try to get yourself back to that time. I'm not saying go back in the past, it's not like back to the future, and so forth, but you got to allow yourself to really see where the seeds were planted and what was reaped at that time, and by doing that, that gives you an inclination of how you could presently make the situation you're in better. Some people just take things as they come, and I'm not saying that's not the right mindset to have sometimes, but in order for you to remember who you are, you got to go back to the past and make sure the situations that you faced then and you overcome then, you can overcome them presently. And some people, I'm not saying that they, at this point in time in their life, they're lazy mentally, possibly physically, financially, to make things better. What I'm saying is that eventually you gotta come to grips with the circumstance that you have and say to yourself, hey man, I'm gonna fix this right now, And what I meant by looking back at the seed that was planted, you really need to know who you were then and who you are now. Yes, we all can change, but the one thing I realized is about me is that a lot of things in the past, as long as they were positive and not negative, I still do now. And the reason why I say that is because it makes me happy, you know. And what I mean by it makes me happy, it makes me think about and appreciate the past more. And that's what I do with my kids. Sometimes with my kids, man, I could sit down there and watch cartoons for hours with them when I'm not doing the business, because that's like a bonding experience for us. And I think a lot of us, we are sometimes in this mindset. I won't say a mindset, but I call it fake maturity, where we gotta force things all the time on ourselves and force things on our kids. And when I was younger, a lot of things were enforced on me, and that's why I knew how to grow into myself. That's why sometimes I'm the same person I was 10 years ago, but I just do things differently now with a different mindset. But I'm the same. If I go by my brother's crib, I could play video games. I'm not too big to do that. When I'm by myself, I play video games. I'm not too big to do that. But I'm also about my business. I'm also about reading books consistently, listening to podcasts consistently. You know, so those are tweaks that you could add into your life. That's like making pastry. You can make the same pastry over and over, but sometimes you need to tweak it so the customers could keep coming back. You know, and I think us as individuals, we're creatures of habit. And I think sometimes we got to venture out mentally, not physically, but mentally. And that's why I always say, you mix the old with the new with a little twist. Remember the times where, like I said, your pops made you happy, your mother made you happy, family members made you happy. Remember the times where, you spent your money erratically, but now look at you spend your money differently. Those were the times that, made you see things totally different. The world was different then, the world is different now. The only thing that's the same is you. Subtly, not fully, but suddenly. Because the mentality probably changed. If your mentality is the same as 10 or 20 years ago, I'm not sure what to tell you. But I think sometimes we, in order for us to maintain who we are, that mental strength, that spiritual strength, by doing that, you know who you are. I know people, man, who back in the day, they were gunmen straight up. They not that now, but if you force them to get down like that, they'll get down like that, but they grandparents, their parents. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Remember who you are, because that's going to be the happiest time in your life. Don't get on this whole miserable train that a lot of people are on, fraudulent train, telling them so they something else. A lot of them are something else. This is that act they portray. And people who are close to them, let me make myself clear. People who could see through it know they're the same person and they're not happy. Me, I can tell you, I'm the same person and I'm happy as can be. Like I said, I can sit down with my kids, watch cartoons, play video games with them. But when it's time for business, they know it's time for business. And that's how I'm raising them. Enjoy yourself, because you enjoy yourself when you're young. Enjoy yourself now, but with a more mature mindset. Family, remember who you are. Look at that mirror, man. Remember who you are. Don't matter the circumstances, okay? Those are temporary. And if you're on your deathbed, you go out fighting by remembering who you are. Before I go, family, hit that like and share button and subscribe to Truthtrtube. Thank you.